Shrewsbury University business students, guys, what is up? I would say this is a really happy thing for me to be doing right now, but it's been rained off essentially due to the coronavirus. I should have been coming in and hopefully delivering quite a motivational talk about business resilience and emotional resilience, which kind of ties in with why I'm not there, guys. And I want to dive into that very, very quickly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with the presentation notes that I had ready for you guys in the hope that we can run through this. I got this little remote control here, so hopefully it works, guys. But I'm going to go through a lot of what's tying into right now and how I'm dealing with this situation as well, which is really, really important as a business owner, guys. And for you guys to understand this, as you go through the next couple of years, stuff like this happens all the time. We have market crashes on average every 3 to 5 years, guys. There is a dip in the market economy every single year, quite a dramatic one, but it always follows with a rise straight afterwards. And then we get these health issues, viruses and things like that, which always try and throw us out of our pace and off our course to and success. So guys, I'm going to share my screen with you now in the hope that you can see it. So I'm going to start this presentation if I can find it. Here we go. And up we go. So I'm just going to increase the size of my screen over here just very slightly. And then that should make a bit of a difference to the presentation. I don't know how, in fact, this is going to look on screen. Apologies for this, guys. As I say, this was only, I have to leave myself that small up in the corner, but I will dive in and out potentially to make sure that you guys can see me a little bit better. But essentially, the presentation I was going to deliver, guys, was called Empower Yourself in a Stressed Out World of Business, because stress does occur regularly throughout business, but it doesn't have to be like that, you see, guys. It all comes down to the tactics that you have and how you actually present resilience in your approach to business in itself. Now, today, I just thought I'd drop this one in here. Coronavirus, screw this, because I should be in front of you guys right now, firing you up, hoping to make you feel so much better about taking your first leap into business. Now, even though all of this is happening, guys, and people are cutting back, they're bulk buying at supermarkets, being fucking ludicrous. I can't understand why this is happening, but because they're doing these things, guys, small businesses like me and everyone else are going to suffer over this next 6 to 8 weeks, or should be suffering over this next 6 to 8 weeks as a result of this pandemic that we have no control over, right? Wrong. It is all about a proactive approach, and we're going to dive into that a little bit further as we go along. So first of all, guys, who am I? Don't worry, this is not going to be any boring shit as you see up on the screen there. Just over here, if you guys can see, I'll wiggle my mouse around. I don't know whether it'll work or not. It probably won't. No, there we go. So on the left, or your left, you might see there's a picture of me being a bodybuilder, running a seminar in my studio, running a seminar at local colleges and other presentations. And there's a picture of me in what I call the high performance program, which is what I run, guys. You can see these logos at the bottom of the screen here. Young in Business Networking. I brought this up. I am developing Young in Business because I don't feel there is enough of this interaction between young people who own businesses and the older generation. There is this huge gap between the old school stuff that people are creating and marketing all the time. For example, email marketing. How many of you guys actually know about email marketing? I'm probably sure there's a lot of you in there. I'm going to tell you it's bullshit. It used to be back in the 90s and the early 2000s, 80, 90% open rate on the emails. And then even better, it was about 20, 30% click-through rate. Now it's dead. You're lucky if you get a 10 to 15% email click-through rate, if you are a fucking great copywriter, guys. And then you have the problem of the click-through rate, which is only about 2% these days. So why do we use it? What's the point? And this is where Young in Business comes in, guys. I want to bring together young people who are aspiring to run their own business, who currently do, who want new age, purposeful positivity inside of their business moving forward, where they can feel energized to take the next step, not think, will this work because the guy telling me is practically my granddad's age. So that's something that's going to be coming up in the next few months for me, guys, which is very exciting. What I currently run is called the High Performance Program. So I work with business owners to get out of an emotionally triggered state and to grow again inside of their business is essentially what I do. So I work inside of 4 success quadrants that I call them, which is peace, passion, power, and performance. Now, guys, in order to optimize them, you need to take a step back away. And this is exactly why this links in with today too, guys. Why I can't be there with you guys is because of the coronavirus. Now, what usually happens is we get incredibly triggered, guys. And what I mean by that is we let all these emotions, sort of like anger, upset, anxiety, overwhelm. You know, we could have to make cutbacks or layoffs. You know, we might have to make people redundant, etc. We get angry, we get overwhelmed, and then suddenly we start to feel lonely in this journey moving forwards. And it's only as a result of being emotionally triggered. And what we should do is take a step back to start being proactive to these situations, not reactive. So guys, moving through these slides, the next one here is, so what are you here for? This isn't actually a question. This is rhetorical because you are here as an individual. And what I want you to understand is moving forwards, guys, a couple of years ago, my business was actually on the brink of bankruptcy, embarrassingly enough. But these times happen. And in knowing and understanding we can speak in the truth, we can move forwards because we're honest. If we try and pull the rug over our own head or over our own eyes, so to speak, then we start to shut off and we get suppressed in what we do. And then we just bury our head in the sand. I'm sure you've all heard that saying. Well, basically, when I was nearly on the brink of bankruptcy, guys, I did exactly that just a few years ago. And it was because I had to deal with this stress, this emotional, this overwhelm, this upset. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I broke up with an ex-partner of mine that I was with for 5.5 years. I lost the house that I bought on this dream street of mine where my nan grew up as well, tens of thousands of pounds, etc. And then the business starts to fail monumentally fast. And it was as a result, guys, of me not being open-minded to new growth, to new ideas, to support, to help, just to talk to other people. So moving forwards, guys, what are you here for? You're here as an individual. And as long as you're open-minded as an individual, you change your no to what if whenever you attend a business seminar, whenever you go into a lesson at university, because I'm sure some of you have had days when you're pissed off, you're upset, you're angry, you're hungover maybe from a few too many drinks, and you go into your next seminar, your next work class, or whatever it may be, and you think, oh God, I really don't want to be here. That is the wrong attitude, guys. If you take that attitude into work, you will fail very, very quickly, just like I nearly did. You need to change that no to what if. Somebody presents an idea to you which goes directly against your belief, guys, be open-minded. It might be the solution to the problem you've been looking for. And as a result of not being open-minded, guys, that's why I nearly destroyed the business completely just a couple of years in. So success is what you're actually here for inside a business, guys. Now, success, what I want to explain to you guys is this nice straight road that you can see coming up through this picture that's just dropped in there is the pathway to success. But actually what happens, guys, when you start your business is you end up here with no straight line. You cannot create that straight line without clarity. Guys, the reason I'm showing you these pictures is because business is all about minor course corrections, as long as at the end of that straight road in that first photo, if you imagine that's your goal right at the end, in that cloud, in that sunshine, that happiness looking type of thing, guys, that's where your success is. The straight line to it is you understanding and having clarity of how to get there. But we all know things like the coronavirus, guys, get thrown in our pathway. They are sent to test us and our resilience in being able to get to the end of it. That's how you need to see business, guys, is that you are being tested to see whether you truly or not deserve to be at the end of that pathway at success. So what happens when we lose clarity, guys, is we get this bottom picture down here where this guy is looking very, very confused, and we get these huge course corrections. What you should be looking for, a famous mentor inside of America, I do a lot of my mentorship, guys. So what I didn't explain was I spent £10,000 on mentorship last year alone, which helped me develop and design the high performance program as well, guys. And in doing so, I work with a lot of American mentors. The reason for American guys is they're always a couple of steps ahead. You can't deny that. They've always got that technology, which is just 1 to 2 steps ahead, whether it's marketing, funnels, emails, whatever it might be, they're always ahead. And one of the mentors that I work with, Bedros Keuilian, he actually turned around and said, it's like driving a car down the road. So if you just hold the wheel straight, guys, you're going to crash into something, whether that's the curb, the poor old lady on the side of it, not that anybody's walking around now, right, with the coronavirus, but you are going to crash your car. So what you have to do is these minor course corrections, don't you, with the steering wheel as you're moving down the road. And what that does is keep you on that straight line, that pathway towards success, that picture on the left, guys. If you don't make these course corrections, if you don't do regular reflection, if you're not being resilient in your attack plan, your proactivity to your business, you end up with this diagram down the bottom, guys. You lose that clarity. You're not quite sure where to go. You have to do these major course corrections, and it all ends up a bit overwhelming. And in actual fact, it's our own fault. So, guys, happiness. Whoa, what a picture, right? Happiness is actually what success means. Whichever way you look at it, guys, you might have heard the saying, money can't buy you happiness. Well, that's bullshit, because that person doesn't know where to shop, is what my old man would tell you. In actual fact, guys, money buys you experience. So for some of you, if you look in the top left-hand corner, guys, that purple Lamborghini represents my poison, guys, cars. Between the age of 18 and 21, I had 27 different cars. Yes, that's right. I'd love to say I made a load of money off it, but I didn't. I lost on each and every single one, because that's what I love. That's my passion. That's what happiness looks like to me. Now, for others, guys, in the top right-hand corner, you can see the beach-fronted, open-plan apartment. Down the bottom left, these are actually pictures, guys, from my high performance program clients' dream boards. It's an exercise we go through to understand what happiness looks like initially. Then we have that direction inside of success. And this is what I'm trying to get you to understand. Bottom left-hand corner, guys, is a huge wine seller, because one of my clients is a huge wine investor as well. Down the bottom right-hand corner, one of the guys actually wants a golf course in his back garden. And down the bottom is my personal favorite, guys, of who I would like to emulate, which is Jason Stone. He's called the Millionaire Mentor, guys. And it's because he has such a strong affiliated network and strong support network around him. And that's what I want to emulate, because we can't do this alone. Our resilience comes from our own tactics and pathways inside a business, but also the fact that we can gang together. If you've seen any of the news, guys, everyone is binding together inside of this, except for the idiots that are losing their mind and buying hundreds and hundreds of rolls of toilet roll. I'm not really sure how that's going to help with the coronavirus, but hey, who knows? Maybe they're going to sell it on the black market or something. But essentially, guys, your happiness comes down to your success comes down to understand what your happiness actually looks like in the end. So what I want you to do, I don't know whether this is going to conflict with what Trina wants you to do, guys, but I want you to take a minute just right now and write down 3 to 5 things of what happiness actually looks like to you. It doesn't have to be physical objects. Guys, one of my clients just wants to go and live off grid, which is absolutely fine, but he needs to be successful in his business to leverage himself away to be able to go and do that. So A and B equals C, C being your happiness, guys. And then you understand that you need to plug in A and B. The first one that I think should be A is emotional resilience, your ability to be able to be resilient to the marketplace, to the economy, to these health threats. And then you add B, which is success, and that equals happiness. So guys, write down just 3 or 4 things, if you can, what happiness would actually look like to you. Who do you need to emulate to be truly happy? Now, once you've done that, guys, I have 4 key things inside of business that also relate to life, which I think are absolutely paramount in you getting to being successful and being truly happy, guys. If you can, start to try and guess these as we're going along. This was supposed to be quite interactive in this, where the slides come in. But the first one, guys, is fail fast. Now, why the hell would you want to fail? Because failure is the only route to success. The only time you ever actually learn something, guys, is when you fail. If you make a mistake, it's an opportunity to learn. If you make no failures inside a business, you will learn nothing. And as fast as you got to success, it will come and be swept from underneath you. I promise you. I made some very, very quick successes inside a business where I made tens of thousands of pounds very, very quickly. And that rug was pulled from underneath me because they were successes. I was so lit up. Oh my God, I made money. This is brilliant. And then suddenly it was like I learned nothing from the process because I was so emotionally triggered with happiness that it just came crashing down. And it was like, wow. The reason for it is because I hadn't failed in those processes when I had those quick wins. It didn't teach me anything. A famous motivational speaker, which some of you guys may know at your age, yes, I'm a little bit older than you, is Gary Vee, guys. He resonates very, very well with our age group, 30 and younger. And he always says, you're either growing or you're dying. guys. And if you are not growing, okay, you're not making mistakes and learning from them, you're actually dying inside the business. And he says that you only learn when you lose, you don't learn when you win. So if you take that same process inside of your bodies, guys, you can actually make your body very, very toxic by eating the wrong foods. If you eat the right foods, the healthy foods, you actually allow yourself to increase your lifespan. So growing or dying, it's the same inside of business as well, guys. You're either learning and failing fast, or you're dying inside the business. Your growth will stagnate and you will go backwards. Okay, you need to be constantly and consistently learning. I hope that makes sense. Number 2, guys, is take responsibility. Okay, now I can remember in a time just not too long ago, a couple of years ago now, just after the bankruptcy, I had this boom in sales and things. I just figured it out. I got it right, and things came flying up through the successes. I didn't make any mistakes on that way up, and then suddenly 1 month I churned 40% net revenue in a month. Imagine, guys, you're being paid 10 grand a month, for example, say, and you churn £4,000. Who here wants to take a 4 grand pay cut in a month? No one, guys. And that's what happened to me. Okay. I then had to turn and shift my perspective around to say, why has this happened? I was blaming everyone, guys. I was like, they're not loyal people. They're horrible people. How could they leave me? This, that, and the other and stuff. I give a great service and stuff. And by blaming all these external factors, okay, guys, I got nowhere. Let me give you another example. So in the economic crash of 2007, 2008, there was property investors which lost billions and billions, millions, hundreds of thousands of pounds, whatever it was, and some went under. Okay, now do you think those people were the only people that lost their business? No, there was lots more, but also there was a lot that survived, guys. There's a lot that actually thrived out of the side of that economic crisis. Why? Because they were proactive in their approach to their business. Just like right now, guys, inside of coronavirus, okay? Most people be pulling their ad spend back. They'll be buckling down. They'll be tightening their belts, so to speak, you know, not spending as much money, waiting for it to come back up. I have done the fucking opposite. I just literally today doubled my ad spend in the height of the coronavirus. Do you know why, guys? Because while everyone else is pulling out and everyone's going, oh, I'm scared, I shouldn't be doing it, you need to take action. Be proactive. That means the cost of adverts are less because nobody else is doing it. It means your reach will be further for less money. The price of silver, I invested in silver about a month ago because the price was great, and now it's about $4 an ounce cheaper. So instead of me losing my mind, guys, and going, oh my God, I've lost about 2 grand in the silver that I invested in, do you know what I did? I bought more. Because, guys, at times like this, you need to do the opposite to what your emotion is telling you. You need to get back to logic. And by doing so, you take responsibility and say, well, I can't do anything about these external things. What I can do is internally manage my emotion, manage my resilience, and do something logical. And that's exactly what I've done over this last couple of weeks. Okay, that's how I will win inside of the coronavirus, by diversifying and being proactive to this. Okay, now number 3, guys, you need to change your perspective. Just like I've told you then, you need to understand that from a different viewpoint, things look differently. I'm going to give you a good example right now. That picture should say it all. I shouldn't have to say anything else about that, guys. You need to flip this perspective lens on yourself 180 degrees when you're inside of stress, anxiety, overwhelm, upset, times of crisis like we're in right now. Turn and shift your viewpoint. Just like I've said to you about the investing in silver, doubling my ad spend, you need to understand that what somebody sees as a 6, the other sees as a 9. Which one are you? You have a choice to make once you take responsibility. If you take responsibility and say, it's my fault for the position that I'm in inside of the business during the coronavirus, it's losing money because I wasn't proactive in thinking, put money away. Diversify my investments. Yeah. And once you've taken responsibility, then you can change your perspective to say, well, actually, now I see it as a 9, not a 6. Let's go. And it's up to you at that point, how you deal with this crisis. Are you reactive? Do you run and hide? Do you go and buy 3 tons of toilet roll and antibacterial gel, which, guys, just to let you know, Antibacterial and antiviral are very different, which I'm probably sure you guys already know. So everyone by now, antibacterial is just fucking ridiculous. Okay. So once you change your perspective, you have an idea and an understanding of how to get where. Success, happiness. Remember what we did a couple of slides ago? That's where you're pointing. And the final thing is, guys, remaining consistently outcome driven. The important bit on that sentence, consistently, because I know I keep saying this, crises happen all the time. You might have 3 members of staff leave you when you only have 4 or 5, or only 3 staff when you start to develop your company. You might have a monumental tax bill, which you weren't expecting, which is just naive, by the way. You should expect these things. You should be calculated, but it's not the point. These things happen sometimes, guys, especially when you're new to business. And what keeps you on track is being consistently outcome driven. And if you're not looking for that happiness, that success all the time, you get jaded off that path. Remember the guy with the crisscross roads, not sure, he's lost his clarity. That's what happens to you when you're not outcome driven, when you haven't set goals, when you're not course correcting like we talked about before. This is where we all go wrong. And I've been there, guys. It is not a nice place to be. Okay. So guys, I have a simple question. What is stress? Can you formulate just a quick sentence for me right now as to what you think stress might be? Write this down, guys. Pause this video right now if you need to and ask yourself, what is stress? I've got my own meaning for this. And remember, we're here as individuals, and this is my perception of stress, which is an emotionally triggered response to a personal stimulus. Now, what that actually means, guys, is it's me. My triggered response to a personal, me again, stimulus. Okay, so let's dive down and break that down further. So your stress, we've just defined what it is, emotionally triggered response to a personal stimulus. Let me give you an example. If any of you guys are offended by swearing, first of all, I'm really fucking sorry because I swear a lot. I should have put a disclaimer at the start of this. But guys, let's break that down. If people are offended at swearing, okay, what is a swear word? A swear word is a string of letters brought together to create a noise, isn't it? That at the basic level, letters together to make a noise. So why is it offensive? Why is it a swear word? Well, because we give those string of letters and that noise meaning. We, us, individuals, give that word meaning. And the same happens inside of business, inside of your life, with your stress. You end up giving your stress meaning, guys. And then it takes on a whole new level. You are completely empowered and in control of taking responsibility, changing your perspective lens, and remaining outcome driven. And in doing so, guys, when these mistakes come along, we fail fast, we move forwards. Those 4 key principles. So I want you to understand that by having stress, what is stressful to us will not be stressful to next 99 out of 100 people. One person might be able to relate inside of that, but are you being outcome driven and emotionally triggered? And the answer will be no. Because when we are emotionally triggered, we make illogical decisions. Like, for example, going to the supermarket and buying lots of toilet roll. I'm going to stop with that joke because it's probably not funny now, but, you know, I've seen so many memes about it. It's great. And, you know, I've seen stuff about people ripping up toilet roll and paying for coffees with it, you know, stick it in their top pocket as a tip for people and stuff. And people be like, oh my God, this is great. So, you know, it's making me laugh at the moment. I don't care whether you lot are laughing. So it's all right. It's all good. So, guys, the next part of this is, whoa, there's a Santa hat. What's that doing there? That will all become very apparent in just a second. Beliefs are fucking powerful. You need to essentially believe this. So first of all, I just jumped ahead. I was about to say, do you all believe in unicorns? And then the picture of me in a unicorn suit's coming down. Okay. All right. We'll skip that one. Okay. Now the other thing is, do you believe humans can fly? Well, how about that? Yes, guys. I am just kidding with you right now, okay? And that's not a real unicorn, and that's not an actual person flying, okay? That's just me messing around. But I will tell you about a belief that I had when I was 14 years old. So if you can imagine, guys, my family is huge, but we're talking like cousins, second cousins, uncles, aunties, grandparents, and stuff like that. We all came together inside of this hotel that I think she's my second cousin. She was general manager of this hotel. So we got like 40 odd rooms inside this hotel, and the whole family came together. We all had a room each. If you imagine Christmas Day, this banquet table was monumental. It's like something in the Edwardian times where they got like, you know, whole pig sat up on there and they got food all the way along. That's what we needed to feed our family. It was huge. Like the Christmas tree was about 14 foot tall and there was presents through a whole room. It was just unbelievable, guys. But my story stems into Christmas Eve. So I'm lying on my bed and I have been told by my parents, remember, don't lock the door, okay? Leave it on the latch, or keep the latch open so that Santa can come in, fill your Santa stack. Because logic says, you know, there's no chimney inside the hotel room. So how's the big fat guy going to get down the chimney and come and fill my Santa stack up? Logic. So I'm with that. So I've left the door on the latch. So I'm about to go to sleep. Now I've laid my Santa sack out at the end of the bed. Santa can come fill it. Yes, I was 14 years old. Stop. Okay. So my cousin walks in the room and he only knows about this as of about 3 months ago that he, no, I'm not going to say that, but yeah, he knows about this story now as a result of 3 months ago. So he comes in and he says to me, he said, just want to say goodnight, Jace. I've just come in and just going to say goodnight and see you tomorrow morning. Merry Christmas. Oh, I see you've got your stocking out there. Dad couldn't afford us to get a stocking and presents under the tree this year. And I was like, oh, okay. And then my cousin walks out and I was like, what? What did he just say to me? Why would his dad buy him stockings? And it hit me like that, guys. Click, gone. At 14 years old. Yes, 14. Don't laugh. Stop laughing. I know you're all going to be laughing right now because everyone does at me for this. I stopped believing in Santa in an instant. My belief was shattered, broken, gone. I'd still believe today if my dad would sneak into my apartment complex and fill my stocking up on Christmas Day. But that's not the point. My belief was shattered, guys. And that is why it is so powerful for you to understand that, is that what you believe currently shapes and changes your perspective. It changes your what if to know, guys, as we talked about at the start of the video. And when you're in know, when you believe something so powerfully and unequivocally, if it's working for you, great. But if it's not, it will fail you. This is why you need to be more open-minded and change your no to what if. Okay? So 2 important things that I learned the hard way inside of business, guys. I want to leave you on this because I think they are incredibly important. And this is a lot of the reason why I'm developing YIB and the high performance and why the high performance program has been running for a couple of years now. The first one is that you need to surround yourself with driven people. Do you think I was surrounding myself when I was on the brink of bankruptcy a couple of years ago with driven people, with motivated peers? No, I wasn't, guys. I can tell you my circle of friends at that moment in time was huge. I had a lot of social events that I went to. I went out drinking all the time. I was around these people. And then I took a step back. And you might or might not know of the same, but the 5 closest people to, or the 5 people that you spend the most time with, are a sum of the person that you will become. And if you take that into consideration, have a look around you right now. Think, who do I spend most of my time with? The 5 people that I spend the most time with. The sum of those people together equal who and how successful you will become. Needless to say, guys, the position and moment I was in time, on the brink of bankruptcy, looking at my friendship group, understanding that nobody was bringing me up, I changed my circle. I have a very small circle now. But inside of that circle, I know each and every single person motivates me, drives me to be more successful, and encourages my goals inside of business. They don't tell me what if. They don't tell me, oh, don't double your ad spend because the coronavirus is going on. They know that I am so driven that I will make it a success because I've been resilient to these things. And I've built this just like everything else, guys. If you go into the gym expecting, so this is a great analogy that I use inside of business. If you go in the gym for the very first time and expect to grow chest and arms, gentlemen, or a nice bum and silky legs, ladies, you can't do it with just one session, can you? You need to do continual reps. You need to get into a routine, a habit. Go to the gym every single day or 3 days a week, 4 days a week, whatever it is. But be in a habit and routine. In a couple of years' time, you will have built your goals, your dreams, your success, your happiness through reps. The only reason I am emotionally resilient inside of the business at this moment in time is because I've done reps and I'm surrounded with driven people who support me in being resilient. I cannot stress that enough, guys. Look at the 5 closest people to you, the ones that you spend the most time with. Are they bringing you up? Because if they're not, they're bringing you down. Growing or dying. Gary V, remember that from earlier in the slides? Or have you fallen asleep already? Wake the fuck up! Sorry, I like to do that just to make sure that you are paying attention. Guys, the last thing I want to leave you with today is that you never, ever, 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 ever stop learning or growing. This again contributed to me being on the point of the business imploding. I'd stopped learning. I'd stopped growing. I got a bit of an ego because I was running a successful business and I was earning a bit of money, and I started growing this ego, guys, and suddenly I shut off to everyone else. What could you possibly tell me? I know it all. I've got this about nutrition, that about nutrition. If you'd spoken to me just 2.5, 3 years ago, guys, how I approach my business, how I approach the nutritional aspect of the high performance program, how I approach my mindset, peace, passion, power, performance didn't exist for me 2.5, 3 years ago. I'm a completely different person than people that know me from that era now. If I'm still speaking to them, if they're still inside of my circle, guys, for want of this positivity, they know I'm a changed person too. And guys, inside of that, it comes through learning and growing. As I said to you before, I spent £10,000 of my own personal money on mentorship last year alone. Only up until I think that was about July or August last year, stemming from the back of 2018. I cannot stress this enough. Invest in yourself first. Because guys, let's look at this. I do this as an exercise inside the high performance program. If you look at yourself, okay, guys, first thing in the morning, you have a bad dream, you wake up to a bad text message or whatever it may be, you're in a bad mood. First thing, you go to work and it's your business, you've got employees there, or you need to be productive inside the business, you're a sole proprietorship, and you're in a bad mood. How effective are you going to be as the leader or the visionary of the business at that moment in time? You're not, are you? Let's face it, okay? So what I need you to understand, guys, I'm going to come away from the share screen now. So if we stop this here, I'm going to stop sharing this. I'm going to come back in. So I want you to imagine that you've woken up and say on a scale of energy, okay, you're like a 5 or 6 because you've had a bit of bad news. You're nowhere near 9 or 10, okay? And you walk straight out the door, you go to work, you're only a 5 or 6 effective. For energy, for bringing people up, for being motivated and being efficient inside of the business. Now imagine if you took that step back, you looked through a different perspective lens, you started to learn and grow and develop to the point where you thought, do you know what, I need to be a 9 or 10 first thing in the morning. Then you're in charge, then you're efficient, then you're going and growing towards success. And this is why I invest so heavily inside a mentorship, guys, is because I need things to bring me up to, even though I'm emotionally resilient, I practice these reps, I need forward focus, I need positive peers around me. And if I have to pay for that, I don't mind. I know not everyone is in a position to do that, but when you do, don't forget about mentorship. Do not forget about the importance of learning and growing. I know you guys are in university at this moment in time, so you will be continually growing, but I mean personal development too. This is what a lot of the high performance program is about, your own personal resilience and effectiveness to be able to run a successful business. Everyone always thinks of it the other way around. They need to be effective in business. No, you need to be an effective person to run a successful business. And in so doing, you need to be empowered in a stressed out world. Guys, that's my presentation for you today. I hope it's been incredibly valuable. I hope to be able to see most of you face to face soon, if that's a possibility. Guys, and the coronavirus fucks off. But I hope this was hugely helpful, guys. If you want to give me any feedback on the presentation, maybe I rambled on a little bit too long. Maybe I should stop swearing. Probably not. But guys, I hope it was hugely helpful. If you have any questions, send them over to me, info@believetotransform.co.uk. I'm more than happy to help out. I'm sure I'm going to be seeing you at the uni at some point soon. And if you have any questions, you haven't got the email address, just send them over to Trina. I'm more than happy to help. So guys, have a great fucking day.